Hey, long time no see, Imada. Oh, hey, Tristan. Hey, man, I haven't seen you since last year, man. How's your year been? Well, video games, am I right? And years too? Man, what if we just, I don't know, we combine them? And that is my poor segue into describing what I want to talk about today. The best games of 2024. And by the best games, I mean the ones I actually played. I didn't play Black Myth Wukong, I didn't play Nine Souls, I didn't play the stupid Elden Ring DLC, I didn't play Astrobot. I want to play all of these games, but I either don't have the time right now or I don't have a PS5 because other than Astrobot, it has no games. And wasting $500 on a paperweight isn't the wisest decision since I've already spent $300 on this one. I don't need another paperweight. Also, this isn't the top 5 best games of the year. These are just a huge chunk of games that I at least liked this year. Not even necessarily the best of the year, just a good handful that I liked. Basically, anything that I played this year that I would give a 7 out of 10 or above. The only game below that threshold that I thought about including was Hellblade 2. It was a very beautiful game, but I just couldn't finish it. It was just boring, it felt more just like more of Hellblade 1. Maybe it gets better over time, but I didn't really care. Maybe I'll give it another shot in the future, because I still liked Hellblade 1, maybe I just need to give it one more try. Anyways, let's start with the 7 out of 10s. Nintendo World Championships the NES Edition is pretty fun. As someone who never grew up with these games, I feel like I'm not the target audience exactly. But I still, however, really like NES games, at least that's what I thought for some of these. This game made me hate some of these games. Like, I used to actually like Zelda 2, but now, yeah, it's pretty bad. Same with the OG Kid Icarus, but other games were actually really fun here. All the Mario games were great, even The Lost Levels was great too. Donkey Kong was really fun, the OG Zelda and Kirby were great, and Balloon Fight is super fun here too. I had a blast going for A ranks in every level, even getting a few S ranks here and there. And some of them are really hard, especially for Nintendo games. Like, I never thought Nintendo would make me speedrun the entirety of Super Mario Bros. And it's just so absurd, but so fun. So yeah, the game is fun, but it's lacking some stuff. For one, no leaderboards. The only way to see the leaderboards is through weekly challenges, but it just sucks there's no other way. It'd be nice to have a leaderboard always active, but the whole game is still really fun, so yeah, 7 out of 10. If they do this again, it could improve a lot, especially if they do a SNES edition or something like that. Next up we have Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. Super Monkey Ball is one of those Sega franchises that has ups and downs all throughout its life. The last entry, though good, I still have my personal issues with it. For one, it's just a remake of old content, and since the controls were worse, it just made the levels the worst way to play them. Other than the graphical upgrade, there's no reason to play Banana Mania over the original games, but it was a step in the right direction. And if that's a step, Banana Rumble is a pretty big step. Still not perfect though. My main issues are that, for one, the controllers are nowhere near the GameCube games and just don't feel nearly as good. They're still fine, but they could have been a bit better. And from what I played, the levels are not as good as the other games either. There's some good ones there, don't get me wrong, but it takes a long time to get to the good ones. It's super slow paced, and the easy levels are very easy. Now, even though I obviously had a lot to complain about, I still really like this game. The core of the game is still Monkey Ball, and thus it's still pretty fun. I still had a good time. The game, though not controlling perfectly, still works and feels fine enough. And when the levels are good, they are good, and the new spin dash move is really fun. Overall, yeah, pretty good game. Hopefully the next game in the series gets to the roots again. I mean, Mario probably took 3 entries to get back into the swing of things, so hopefully it's the same for Monkey Ball. Next up we have the Jackbox Survey Scramble. I love Jackbox games, but they've had a rough 2 years recently. Last year we got Pack 10, which featured a whopping 1 good game, and this year, oh my god. The Jackbox Naughty Pack is just not good. For one, the idea is fundamentally flawed, and the games are basically just this. So basically, if you want to play through a Jackbox game that was written by VisiPop, be my guest, but personally, I'm good. Smash Out, I was surprised when we got a second Jackbox game this year, and this one is actually pretty good. The Jackbox Survey Scramble is a mini pack of Jackbox games. They all share the same theme and revolve around survey answers that always are being updated. The first game is high-low, where you guess the lowest and highest parts of a list. It's okay. The lower part of the list can be a bit of a crapshoot to guess, but it's still fun. I heard at launch it was just filled to the brim with joke answers, but I really didn't see it playing this time, so I assume it got better. Speed round is next, and it's fine. It's more or less just how many words you can come up with, because some words just don't fit the category. It's not the greatest, probably my second least favorite mode overall. The third mode is squares, and it's basically like tic-tac-toe and it's really fun. There's a lot of strategy of whether you should capture or steal. I wish it wasn't a team-based game because personally that's not my favorite way to play any game, but it was still fun. Next is the other team game in this pack, Bounce, and it's definitely the worst one. It's really hard for one, and it's just so slow. It's like impossible to guess the exact middle of any place on the board. So how is anyone supposed to do this stuff? And even if you did understand it, the ball just moves so slowly that no matter what, it just isn't fun. Next is dares, and it's also pretty boring. You have a thing on the list and you're dared to either guess higher or lower. But it's just high-low if it just switched to high and low more often. But lastly is the best one, dash. You pick the answer you think is most popular and you go forward on the path. If you feel confident in your answer, you can even double down and go 2 spaces forward if you get correct, but you go 1 back if you lose. It's just a really fun one and easily the favorite of the people I play with. Overall, most of these games aren't amazing, but there are a few fun ones, and the game gets constantly updated with more modes, and for $10, it's certainly worth it. Overall, a solid jackbox game. I really liked it. Next one is Penny's Big Breakaway. Even though I still like this game, man, it's not as good as I hoped it would be. The main problem is the moveset of the main character. It just feels so clunky. And even though now I understand it more, it's not as rewarding as I thought it would be. But the game is still fun, just not perfect. The level design is really clever, the visuals are amazing, same with the music and boss fights. You can still tell the Sonic Mania devs who are behind this game really put everything into this game, but Sonic Mania was still a little better in the end. Still a good game though, and I can't wait to see what these guys do next. The last 7 out of 10 is Indigo Park Chapter 1. Yeah, this is one of those mascot horror games the kids are always talking about, and this one, I can definitely see a vision of why it could be good. This could be great. Chapter 1's just okay. The charm is certainly there, the characters are fun, Rambly is a super enjoyable guide, but I do have some issues with the game. Gameplay wise, it's definitely lacking in puzzles, and there's nothing too scary in the game. There's one chase segment, and it's fine. It's just a little easy though. Though the creator seems to be really passionate about his project, and he could easily improve in the future, so I could see this being a great game in the future. Now on to the 8 out of 10s. These games were not just good, but great, and I would recommend them to almost anyone. Let's start off with the game I have the least to say about, Doom 1 plus Doom 2. There are like 60 releases of these games, and this is by far the best way to play them. Not only did they control great, but they have full mod support and a brand new official Doom episode in this. Yes, a brand new Doom game that's based off the original Doom games. That's just crazy. I could not be more happy about it. I love the classic Doom games, and the only reason not getting higher scores mainly because I've played these both hundreds of times. I know the first episode of Doom better than my actual family, so playing it here, though fun, doesn't have the same appeal as it used to. But I also want to commend the reason for another thing. If you already own Doom 1 and Doom 2, the game was completely free. And in the days of games like Luigi's Mansion 2 HD costing $60 goddamn dollars, this is just a really cool thing to do and should be an industry standard. Anyways, next is a game you probably never heard of, Tori's Panic Pack. Now you may be asking, who the is this bird with sunglasses, and why is he finding the literal embodiment of death? Well, this is Tori. These games follow you playing as a bird with sunglasses in these fun, bite-sized 3D platformers. And each of the games is only 99 cents, meaning you can pick up the entire trilogy for less than a Big Mac. And each of these games are only 99 cents each, meaning you can pick up the entire trilogy for less than a Big Mac, so you honestly have no excuse not to play these. Tori Panic Pack is really good too, but it's just not as good as the second game, but it is better than the first game. This is a package of 3 smaller Tori games. The first is Tori Genesis. It's a fun 3-level platformer that pays a homage to Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's a blast. This is followed by my favorite in the pack, Tori's Jumble Jam 2. It remixes levels from Tori 2 and makes 4 really hard but fun levels that are honestly some of my favorite Tori levels. Finally, Tori Missions is definitely the game's weak point. The levels are bite-sized challenges and they can be fun, but there's some clunking in here that makes it pretty unplayable at times. However, for 99 cents, it's still a great game and I would highly recommend it for the price. Also, next year we're getting a new Tori game, being Tori Saturn, and I played the demo, and this is honestly my most hyped game of 2024. Do not sleep on this game. The last 8 out of 10 game I played this year was Mario and Luigi Brothership. First of all, can we talk about the insane comeback story that is the Mario RPGs this year? After years of unoriginality, with some interviews even saying they're not allowed to do anything unique, we got a remake of Super Mario RPG, a remake of Thousand Year Door, and a brand new Mario and Luigi game all in less than a year. I mean, these games could not be more back. Anyways, let's talk about the Mario and Luigi game. For one, this might be the best game when it comes to art direction of this year. It's just so well animated and full of charm. Like, in 10 years, this game will still look incredible. There are some frame drops, but it's nothing that bad. The other big problem is the pacing, but it's still fun throughout, and I never felt like it was too bad. The dialogue is charming as ever, and the combat, oh my god, the combat. This might be some of the best combat in any RPG I've ever played. It's just so fun. Needless to say, no IGN. This is not one of the worst games of 2024. What is actually wrong with you guys? Do you guys know how to have fun? Also, I know this is a hot take, but I'm glad Luigi jumps automatically now. I hate how he didn't do that in the original game, so this is a lot better. Now on to the 9 out of 10 games. And these are simply incredible, so you have to play them. First is Animal Well, which is like if Halo 2 or Halo 3 got mixed together, or at least I think that's what Donkey said. Yep, this is the first game published by Big Mode, which is a publishing company founded by YouTuber Donkey. And what a great game to start things off with. But I also want to specify that Donkey did not make this game. That credit goes to the man of the name Billy Basso. And this guy is a freaking psycho. The game was made solely by him. Every animal, every item, every puzzle, every goddamn gorgeous pixel of art in this game. Heck, the core engine the game runs on, the foundation of the game, was made by Billy Basso. What a madman, and it paid off. This game is so cool. My only real issue is that it can be super easy to get lost in, which I know is a skill issue and it's part of the point of the game. But it just doesn't vibe well with me. But I could easily see that be a reason why so many people love this game. So either way, you should buy this game. Because either you'll like it, or you'll love it and it'll be one of the favorite things you've ever played in your life. Next up is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. And usually it would be a 10 out of 10, but the remake's only a 9. The main reason for that is because the remake doesn't improve much outside of visuals. And even though they are gorgeous, it's not a crazy big improvement for me to recommend this game to people who've already played the original one. But if for some reason you haven't, what are you doing? This is one of the best RPGs ever made, not just Mario, but as a whole. The combat is great, the characters are so charming, the story is just so great. One of the best Mario games you could play. I can't recommend it enough. Sonic X Shadow Generations is a 9 out of 10, but the original was actually an 8, so unlike Thousand Year Door, this only got better with time. Generations is mostly unchanged to this game, but the main thing I like about this game is the brand new Shadow Generations. This brand new side game isn't just a small game, it's the same length as Generations, and it's simply incredible. One of the best Sonic games ever made, it's just included here for fun. My only problem with the game is that sometimes the game feels like it's playing itself a little bit with the boost formula of gameplay, but it's still incredible. Next is Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and I know this game is pretty heated debate in the Zelda community. Some people hate it and some people like it, but I think I'm the only person who loves it. I'm going to be real, even though my favorite Zelda is a 2D Zelda, the 2D Zelda games have never been my favorite. I don't like the NES games, I wasn't a big fan of Link to the Past or Between Worlds. The Oracle games are good and Minish Cap is good too, but nothing incredible. Basically, none of the 2D games were too incredible outside of Link's Awakening. Echoes is my second favorite 2D game in the series. For one, the story, though not the best, is still a good Zelda storyline and had me intrigued throughout. The gameplay is great, with the echoes you can summon, it's basically like getting new items all the time, and it's so cool. The dungeons are also all great in my opinion, the combat is super fun, even though it can get boring towards the end game. There are sadly two big issues to keep it from a perfect 10 out of 10. First is the frame rate. Though not unplayable, it is very bad at times and it's always fluctuating up and down. They should have just locked it at 30 so that way it didn't go too bad. The bigger problem is this stupid menu. All your echoes are lined up individually in a line and it's basically a Where's Waldo game trying to find the right one. It's just terrible. I have no clue how it's got through testing, but the game is still great and I highly recommend it. Super Mario Party Jamboree is a great Mario Party game that I've already talked about. Yeah, I already made a whole video about me ranting about the game, so if you want more thoughts, you should just go watch that. Just keep in mind in that video I look like this loser and not a circle, so keep that in mind. The boards and minigames are good, but they can be a bit slow, and the ally mechanic is flawed, but still fun. And the other modes are fine. Still a great game overall. Now we finally made it to 10 out of 10s, and each of these games, you owe yourself to play these. First is Battle Show, and I already talked about this game. So, seeing how I already talked about this game, I'm going to keep my thoughts on it brief. Basically, it's as amazing as everyone says it is. It's poker, but like, just so much more fun. If this was a gambling game, everybody would be poor in a day. UFO 50 is literally insane. Like, what madman wakes up and says, man, what if I made like 50 games and sold them as one game in a retro style collection? Yeah, every single one of these games are full on retro games with multi-hour adventures. Heck, one of the 50 games is a 60-hour RPG. Like, who does this crap? This is the game I can easily recommend the most. I mean, with 50 games, you got at least like one of them because they're all amazing. And if you don't, you might just be incapable of having fun. This is just incredible. The next two I have a lot to say about, but I'm going to keep it short because I want to make a video about each of these in the future. Because both of these are in my top 5 favorite games of all time. First is Persona 3 Reload, and first of all, go on Spotify right now and listen to the music, because goddamn, this would have made this game a 10 out of 10 in the first place. But the plot twist is that this killer album comes with a dope ass game as well. This is my first ever Persona game, and with every Persona game being one of my favorite games of all time, you can see why I respect this game so much for introducing me to the series. For one, the story is beautiful, heartbreaking yes, I never cried more playing this game, but oh my god, it is so brilliant. The artistry behind every ounce of this game's plot is incredible. The biggest improvement between the game and the original is the combat, and yep, it is incredible. However, it is a little easy, but man, I don't care. This is incredible. There is not a game out there that has spoken to me more on a personal level than this. So, such a great game, so just go play it. And yet, one game was better than all the rest. My brand new third favorite game of all time. Metaphor ReFantazio is simply incredible. Not only is this a phenomenal story, but it also has you on the edge of your seat. The gameplay is perfect. Planning out my day-to-day life in the game was so rewarding and it made me feel alive. The game has so much content in it that you could do something unique every single day. In other Persona games, I felt like there was always a day that I felt like I was wasting, but not in this game. There's cheating so much to this game that I don't know if I'll ever see every corner of it. Simply incredible. I can't recommend it enough. So that's how my year's been. I mostly just played video games and oh, he left. This always happens to me!